Ah yes, you, sitting there, drooling on your keyboard, thinking you're ready to play Dead by Daylight's creepiest killer, Sadako. Spoiler alert, you're not. You're gonna turn on a TV, teleport into a wall, and then cry when someone teabags you on a pallet. But don't worry, you smooth-brained entity worshipper. I'm here to explain Sadako so you can finally understand what the hell those stupid static-filled TVs are for, instead of running around the map like a headless Claudette. We'll cover her powers, what the cursed VHS does, how survivors can counter her, and strategies so you can maybe stop embarrassing yourself every time you pick her. So sit down, shut up, and let's figure out how to actually be scary in this game. Because right now, the only horrifying thing is your win rate. Sadako has two states, demanifested and manifested. And no, they're not just edgy anime terms, they actually matter depending on what you're trying to do. You always start the trial demanifested. In this state, Sadako can't attack survivors. She's basically a ghost, no collision, meaning you can walk straight through people and completely ignore protection hits. You also can't be stunned by anything, not even blast mine. That's why smart players demanifest before kicking a gen. You'll still get the flash in your face, but you won't get stunned, which saves time. While demanifested, Sadako also gets undetectable. Survivors can still hear her lullaby if they're close, but beyond 24 meters, she's straight up invisible. Perfect for outdoor maps. And you can shrink that 24-meter distance with add-ons. If you're inside 24 meters, she glitches in and out of reality, which is still hard to notice unless survivors actually have eyes, which is questionable. Now the flip side, the manifested state. This is the state where Sadako can actually injure people. She gets her collision back, meaning you can be body blocked by survivors. You can also be stunned again like any other killer. When you manifest, your undetectable effect lingers for 1 second, and the invisibility or glitching lingers for 5 seconds, both of which can be extended with add-ons. You swap between states by holding the right mouse button, though you slow down a bit while phasing into manifested. So to sum up, demanifested is for sneaking, duking stuns, and generally being a ghostly nuisance. There is one more thing about the demanifested state which we'll cover in a bit. The manifested state is for actually hurting people, and if you get those two confused, congratulations, you're about to phase through a survivor, watch them point at you, and cry yourself to sleep. Sadako is one of the few killers in Dead by Daylight who comes with her own special props. TVs scattered across the map. Both survivors and Sadako can interact with them, but the TVs are basically her entire gimmick. Sadako can see the aura of every TV on the map as long as it is turned on. From there, she can teleport to any TV if two conditions are met. The TV must be active, and you must be demanifested while looking in the direction of that TV's aura. If both of those are true, the game gives you the option to crawl out like the world's angriest VHS rental.
Are you out your fucking mind? Get him out of here, man.
Projection comes with 3 effects. First, any survivor within 16 meters of an active TV gains a condemned stack, up to a maximum of 7. I will explain why that is terrifying later. Second, when you crawl out of the TV, you get a speed boost. Specifically, you hit 6.9 meters per second for 2 seconds. And yes, that number is as cursed as it sounds. With the bloody fingernails add-on, you zoom even faster. Third, after projecting, the TV turns off for 30 seconds, so you cannot spam it. The TVs also give you information. If a TV shows static, there are no survivors within 16 meters. If it shows footage like an eye, that means at least one survivor is within 16 meters. And yes, this even counts hooked survivors and corpses, so take that info with a grain of salt. Imagine thinking you have found a Claudette only to realise it is just a dead Meg rotting on the ground. Nice job, Sherlock. Survivors are not helpless here. They can see TV auras if they are within 16 meters, and they can interact with them by extracting tapes. Doing so turns off the TV for a full minute. While holding a tape, survivors cannot use any items, and they cannot drop the tape either. They can use it to shut down another TV, but doing that gives them an extra condemned stack. The only way to get rid of the tape completely is by returning it to the farthest possible TV from the one they took it from, which also clears 3 condemned stacks. So survivors basically play FedEx Simulator while you yeet yourself across the map through television screens. You are a cursed horror movie ghost. They are unpaid interns at Blockbuster. Fair trade. Now we come to the main reason anyone bothers to play Sadako. The base kit Condemned Mori. When you apply Condemned to a survivor until they have 7 stacks, it triggers Killer Instinct and briefly reveals the location of the fully condemned survivor. If you down them before they can clear their condemned stacks, you can mori them, no matter how many times they have been hooked. Obviously, the biggest value comes when you hook a survivor who has not been hooked yet or only once. Hooking a survivor also locks in some of their condemned stacks. The first hook will lock in up to 3 stacks, which is why you need to be smart about when to hook survivors. The second hook will lock in 6 stacks, giving you just 1 stack to play with before the survivor is fully condemned. If you are not thinking about when to hook, congratulations. You just turned a beautifully terrifying ghost into a confused babysitter, handing out stacks like candy while the survivors laugh at you. Timing is everything with Sadako, or you are just a cursed ghost waving at your lunch. One of the most important things to watch as Sadako is your HUD. It gives you a lot of information if you pay attention. It will not tell you exactly how many condemned stacks survivors have. That would be way too strong, but it gives you plenty to work with. When you project to a TV, look at your HUD carefully. If you see a player with a glowing white ring around them, that means they were hit by your projection and have condemned stacks. The glow needs to actually light up. If it is just a plain white ring that does not glow, it means they were not affected by your current projection, but they still have condemned stacks from previous projections. If a player's head looks like it is static, that means they took a tape from a TV. When you fully condemn someone, the HUD makes it very clear who is fully condemned. It shows a red ring around the player's head so you cannot miss it. Ignoring your HUD is basically like trying to play chess blindfolded while your opponent sets your king on fire. Pay attention or you will miss the easiest mori of your life and look like a confused ghost. A lot of people say Sadako is bad in chase, which is kind of true, but you can completely change that if you know a few tricks. You can demanifest while chasing someone and manifest around a pallet. This makes you completely invisible to the survivor, letting you double back while they run straight into your arms for a free hit, and completely bypassing the pallet. If the first invisibility trick does not work while manifested, you can still use the glitching in and out effect. You will know by looking at Sadako's hands. If they disappear, that means you are invisible. You can also outrun survivors completely if they are near one of your TVs. Some might try to use sprint burst or dramaturgy to escape, but it will not work because you are just too fast. The only way they survive is by reacting fast enough. You can make the TV speed insane by using play with your food and bloody fingernails. It is very hard for survivors to counter. When you know where a survivor took a tape from, you can analyze your HUD and track when TVs disappear to predict where they might drop the tape, usually at the farthest TV from where they took it. The only way to remove the tape from their hand is by hooking survivors, which honestly is a terrible design choice by behavior. When a survivor is fully condemned, teammates will help out and take hits for them. You can bypass their protection hits by simply demanifesting through them and manifesting in front of them. This way you can secure a down on the fully condemned survivor. There are also a lot of strong builds for Sadako. I will link a playlist of my favourite Sadako builds up here on the top right. If you are not using these strategies, congratulations. You are basically handing free hits to survivors while they laugh at you through your own TVs. Play smart, or remain a cursed ghost who is bad at ghosting. Alright, congratulations. You survived this tutorial, which already says something about your attention span because let's be honest, most of you were halfway to crying halfway through. Now you know how to demanifest, manifest, yeet through TVs, stack condemned, and make survivors wish they had never touched a VHS. If you actually put this knowledge to use, maybe, just maybe, you won't look like a confused ghost stumbling into pallets for the next 7 trials. But let's be real, some of you are still going to die to Claudette while whining about lag. If you want more unhinged, brutally honest Dead by Daylight content, tutorials and builds that actually make you scary instead of useless, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell before I manifest behind you through your own monitor. And remember, if you die, it is entirely your fault. Stay cursed, my friends.
Who needs 7 days when all I can spare is 7 minutes? Tapes can't save you now. Playtime's over. How fortunate for you.